A very warm welcome, warm welcome to you all out there. This wonderful day, Saturday, the 23rd day of the month of August, year of our Lord 2025, and welcome to the Afia Sports Show, the home of sports, actually, on Afia TV. Frequencies still remain the same on TV. That is channel 254 DSTV, channel 17 Go TV, channel 748 Free TV, and as usual, running a simulcast today, a simultaneous broadcast because Afia Radio is also involved in the proceedings today. Afia Radio, 99.3 Afia Radio. So if you're listening on the radio, you can hear us from whatever part of wherever you can get from the radio. You can actually listen to us, and you're involved in this simulcast. So we welcome you. We welcome you greatly to this great show. I remain CC Emechebe, also known as CC the Rabbi, your host, and I'm not doing this alone. We have Emeka Wanaka, the priest of football himself, self-acclaimed priest of football.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, it's a pleasure indeed. So like I said, we're running a simulcast, so we have our phone lines that are open. You can call in and then listen to us here. The phone line still remains 09116 993 993. I'll take that one more time. 09116 993 993. So we're going to start with the headlines. And the first headline, NPFL, of course, the NPFL has kicked off. We know about that. But the first bit of news concerning the NPFL that we need to know is that there is a ruthless overhaul that is going on in the NPFL in a club in particular, referring to Enyimba, People's Elephant, the most successful side in the NPFL history. People's Elephant, Enyimba, have axed 22 players ahead of the new season. Now, Nwankwo Kanu, the legend himself, who is the chairman, the CEO of Enyimba International, People's Elephant, has decided that these players are surplus to requirement and did not meet the standards regarding what they want to do. Enyimba want to get back to dominance, so they have to release players. Some of those players include Brown Indeye, and then, of course, Ani Ozemenam, the goalkeeper. But we'll give you more news about that later on. Emeka, there's another headline.
All right, taking off from over the seas, we have Mohamed Salah, who clearly clinched the PFA Player of the Year award. I mean, after a brilliant season, he's clinched that Capital Award, and that's just it on that front.
Yes, and it's 3 times he's won that. He becomes the first person
to win
in
it
the history
3
of the
times.
English Premier League to win the PFA Player of the Year 3 times, and deservedly so. He had more goals and more assists than anybody last season in the English Premier League, and led Liverpool to their second Premier League title and 20th league title overall. And then, of course, still on the issue, Liverpool have been very brilliant, and they started very well this season with a 4-2 win at Anfield against Bournemouth.
Yeah.
But there was a key incident that occurred there. It was a racial incident where Antoine Semenyo was racially abused by a man who was actually disabled anyway, but he should have known better, who racially abused him and called him some racial derogatory words. And the man has been banned from all UK stadiums indefinitely, pending an investigation. He was arrested, he's been released, I think, on bail, and then 1 or 2 things have to be looked into it. But he has been banned for racially abusing Antoine Semenyo. More information on that will come when it comes. And we start in earnest with the NPFL. The NPFL now, first of all, I want to see this opportunity to appreciate, I think, America, let's just clap for the Nigerian Premier Football League sticking to their guns. Now, that you guys won't understand how proud I am as a Nigerian of what happened. Months ago, the NPFL
released the date.
They released the date. The NPFL board released the date and said that the 22nd of August will be the resumption date. It has been years, many years since
the date was set, and they stuck
to the date. So the fact that the NPFL kicked off yesterday, as and when due, by 4 p.m. when Remo Stars, the defending champions, hosted the runners-up from last season, Rivers United. It happened, and that's if anything, that's the best bit of news for me, because the integrity of the league is being restored.
I mean, it's good to see that finally order has been restored in the NPFL. There's been years, like you mentioned, that they stuck to a particular opening day fixture. I mean, you've seen cases where they set a date, some things came up and okay, the fixtures were either pushed forward or pushed backwards. Now, but we finally have a set date that was stuck to and everything. Now, I mean, that's great. That's really amazing. I really love to see this. We love to see more of the NPFL sticking to more of what they set for the league. I mean, it's great to see them sticking to a date after setting it. We hope that more of this will happen in the NPFL, and if they are to set more laws and rules, they will stick by it.
Indeed, we're looking forward to that. So, regarding what happened yesterday, first of all, like we said, we congratulate the NPFL board being led by the chairman himself, Honorable Benga Elegbele, and the chief operating officer, Dave Zinowumi. And it happened that Remo Stars in Ikene hosted Rivers United, like we said, and the match ended in a 1-1 draw. There was a red card there. Emekai was given a red card very late in the game, in the 5th minute of stoppage time. But that was a game that had goals scored. The first goal was scored by Okon. Akenyene Okon. He scored in the 9th minute. So that's the first goal that was scored in the NPFL in the 9th minute. And that was for Rivers United. So Rivers United opened up their goal account with Vincent Mboma scoring the second goal in the 9th minute. So they had the 3rd minute. Sorry, I beg your pardon. Okon scored in the 3rd minute. And then just 6 minutes later, Mboma scored the equalizer. And that's how it ended. They kept on feeling for each other. And then eventually the match ended in a 1-1 draw. Not the best way to start, but the last time a defending champion began the season at home, they ended with a draw. Rangers International.
Yes, the same way. I would say maybe a little bit of jinx could affect their season as well.
I don't know about those of us who have the Rangers inclination. Maybe, hopefully.
Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed. And toes crossed too while we're at it. So we'll just give you the remaining fixtures for the rest of the match week 1. Remember, yesterday's game was the only game for Friday, which is opening day. Today, being Saturday, there will be no games. But for the rest of match week 1, we're going to have all the games played at the same time, 4 p.m. tomorrow being Sunday. And we'll have the games this way. Barao FC will be hosting Enyimba. And then Shooting Stars of Ibadan will be hosting Bayelsa United.
Abia Warriors host Kano Pillars. We have Ricky Torres hosting Plateau United. Castilla United host Warri Wolves. Rangers and action at the Cathedral against Kun Khalifat. Kwara United take on Ikorodu Boys, Oga Boys as they call them. El Kanami Warriors will be facing Bender Insurers. 3SC will be taking on Bayelsa United. And Barrow FC, as you mentioned, will be hosting Enyimba. Quite interesting news in Enyimba there, as we mentioned before, with the 22-man being asked to leave.
Yes, that's a very, very important bit of news. 22 players being cleared out, and we'll give you more information about that in subsequent shows, because I have to get into the details of what happened there, why Papilo was upset, why he was angry about that. But we'll give you in-depth information about that when we come on Monday. We'll talk about that because we want to go in-depth and then discuss it against the backdrop of Enyimba's result when we find out what exactly pans out there tomorrow. Yes, exactly. So we're going to find that out. At least let's talk about that against the backdrop of the results for their match week 1 by Monday. When we come here by 5 p.m. on Monday to give you the review show, or rather, should I say the preview show for the NPFL and every other thing there. So stick around, please. We'll go for a very short break and we'll be right back. And we'll give you more information. There's a lot that's happening this week, and really, it is great to be here on the sports show. So don't touch that dial. Remember, there's a simulcast, and you call in and then give us your thoughts. We will communicate after this break. You're welcome back to the Home of Sports on Afia TV. As usual, our sports program kicking off in earnest. We're talking about, we've moved from Africa right now, and we're moved from Africa, actually, yes. We're now in Europe. We're talking about the English Premier League and other European leagues. And, of course, I still remain CC the Rabbi, and I have Emeka Madoka, the priest of football, here with me.
Yes.
And remember, this is a simulcast. You can listen to us from Afia Radio 99.3, the same way you're watching us on channel 254 DSTV, channel 17 Go TV, and channel 748 Free TV. The phone lines still remain 09116 993 993. I'll take that one more time. 09116 993 993. So, first of all, we want to say it was part of the headlines, but we'll just mention it again. Big congratulations to Mohamed Salah on becoming the first player in the history of the English Premier League
To clinch the
clinch the PFA Player of the Year award three
times.
times. I mean, that's a great feat.
I mean, he's been a phenomenon in the Premier League over the years, and I mean, it's not surprising to see he's the first to make this great feat. I mean, he's been putting in a lot of shifts, putting a lot of brilliant performances over a lot of seasons. This is his 9th season now at the club, Liverpool, 10th in the Premier League so far, and I mean, Mohamed Salah seems the older he gets, the more seasons progress, the final wine he gets, as they say. I mean, it's just really wonderful to watch this Egyptian man grace the field.
Yeah, just shattering records left, right, center. I mean, that's what he does. He's been doing that regularly, and one of the things, like, he's for the record, he's the 4th highest goal scorer in the Premier League history ever, and the highest scoring African ever, with 187 goals, joint with Andrew Cole.
Yes.
So it's not a matter of if, but when he will break that, and then just create distance between himself and Cole.
Chasing that Wayne Rooney.
Wayne Rooney, who has 208 goals.
200 club.
And then, the 200 club is exclusive with just 3 players there. Alan Shearer with 260 goals, Harry Kane with 213 goals, and then Wayne Rooney with 208 goals. And he has, there's only one player there who's not yet retired, and that's Harry Kane, who's strutting his stuff in Bundesliga, yes. We did something yesterday, But first of all, we have a caller today. Want to know who is calling us this morning to join the show. Hello, good morning.
Oh, my name is Good Morning, President.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right, my name is King Freddy. Okay, I'm calling from Canada.
You're welcome. Please go ahead.
So, in respect of Salah, you understand, the ball is physical and the mental and the spiritual kind of thing. You understand? If you physically fit and you're mentally stable and you're spiritually okay, there is no team. Salah is the legend. Everybody can see. Salah has too many history, and they have played in his little way. He makes too much impact in the game that whenever Salah is in the ball, you will always notice that somebody that is creative, that is physically, that is trade dribble, that is somebody inside the place that can take this ball from here to this place without obstruction. You understand?
Yes.
So, Salah has always been the man he has always been up to now. So any award Salah is winning, as far as I'm concerned, my name is King Freddy. I play soccer like no tomorrow, and I know what it takes for somebody to say and dribble somebody. Salah is my legend. You understand? So I give it all to him. He is living up to expectation. And even Salah is living like don't let me know. There's somebody again who can do something at all times. So is Salah. You understand? So my regards to him and to sports all over the world, and to our great team, Rangers, this season we play better. They try to figure people who can make it easy for all of them. Okay? It's not just by appointing somebody under one kind of which of them you know that this thing is not going to see the result. And if you know that this thing is not going to see the result and they are doing it habitually, I don't understand your kind of spirit. You understand?
Yes.
So when it comes to Scotland spirit, you have to be creative in mind, you have to be spiritually stable, and you have to be physically fit at all times. So that when they say you move the object to the other post, you make sure nobody takes the object from you, you get to the other post. You understand? It's just like hockey. When they play hockey with the little stick, you cannot stop somebody. People have dribble skills that can dribble all the things and score. So I think give people their right place and make work easy for you. Okay?
Thank you very much. That's a very, very important call there. Extolling the achievements of Mohamed Salah. That was one of the major areas that he came from. But we just need to know the importance of giving them their flowers. Like, it's certain that Mohamed Salah has a claim to become one of the greatest players the Premier League has ever seen.
Yes, that's true. I mean, he's had the statistics, he's had the goals, he's got the assists, he's got the impact. all over these 9 seasons in Liverpool, and even when he spelled at Chelsea, to make that claim that yes, he's one of the greatest players that the Premier League has ever had. So I mean, it's not a debate there when you're putting Mo Salah up right there with the greats and you say he doesn't deserve to be there. That's a lie. Mo Salah is one of the greatest, if not the greatest.
Yes, that's what we'll. So that will be a discussion, a topic for discussion later. No, because it's not a case of the difference between one of the greatest and the greatest. No, so it's still a discussion that will go on time and time. We'll have those that will argue for and against. We'll get to that point. When we get to that bridge, we'll cross it. But for now, the bridge that we're at has to do with the English Premier League proper, the EPL itself. And we saw some very, very important results yesterday. Match Week 2 has kicked off in earnest, and the Blues, the world champions, Chelsea Football Club. Yes, there's a smirk by my side right now on the face of Emeka. I don't know. He'll explain to you why that smirk is there.
I mean,
but you know, first of all, let's just announce it. Chelsea went to West Ham United, the London Stadium, and they painted it blue by beating them by 5-1. They were thrashed comprehensively there, even though West Ham United took the lead. Lucas Paqueta, fantastic goal from outside the 18-yard box there. But Chelsea just riled up everything and then scored the goals. They scored the first goal, and then the what would have been a goal that put West Ham back in the lead, scored by Niklas Füllkrug, was cancelled offside, yes. And then Chelsea just ran riot there.
Equalizer by João Pedro, then Füllkrug goal disallowed, then Pedro Neto getting on the score sheet, then Enzo Fernandez, then Caicedo in the second half. Then we had to just be him. Chalobah scored the proceedings there. Yeah,
he rounded up the proceedings. That was good for his confidence. But that puts a lot of pressure on the former Chelsea manager, Graham Potter, who now has, I know it's still early days, the first 2 games, and he's considered 8 goals.
That's not
8 goals
good
and
for
scored just 1 goal, because the first match of the season they lost to Sunderland, newly promoted Sunderland, by 3 goals to 0. So it's not looking good for them, and I think managers nowadays have little chance to impress. These are not the days of Sir Alex Ferguson and Arsene Wenger, who would stay over 2 decades in the club. No, now many clubs are very impatient. They want to get quick results. But I think we take solace in the fact, from a Graham Potter perspective, that having a terrible start does not define your season all the time.
Actually, it doesn't define your season. I mean, we've seen clubs who've had worse starts to this and ended up in good places on the table. So it's just on the onus of the ownership of the club, the hierarchy, to either back him up, or if they choose to go for other services, rely on the best for them and see how far they can go this season.
Okay, we'll watch and see how that pans out. But we have the Premier League fixtures, the rest of the fixtures for this week. Beginning today, we're going to have the early kickoff by 12:30, Manchester City against Tottenham Hotspur. That's a replay of what happened last season. We don't know if it's going to be the same result. Very unlikely. 4-0, where Tottenham Hotspur blasted Manchester City at the Etihad Stadium. Then we'll have Brentford hosting Aston Villa, and then Bournemouth hosting Wolverhampton Wanderers, Burnley hosting Sunderland. Those matches, the 3 matches, are going to be by 3 p.m. today. And the late kickoff for today will be Arsenal by 5:30
against
Leeds United. Then we're going to have Sunday games. The 3 Sunday games we'll have will be Everton up against Brighton and Hove Albion.
On the new turf.
Yes, on their new turf, exactly. Their first game away from Goodison Park. And then you have Crystal Palace, an SLS, a Crystal Palace without a king. A Crystal Palace without a king. They're going to be playing, an SLS Crystal Palace will be playing against Nottingham Forest, also by 2 p.m. And then we're going to have the late kickoff for today. Fulham will be hosting, for tomorrow, I beg your pardon. Fulham will be hosting Manchester United in Craven Cottage. And the late kickoff, the biggest game of the weekend, has to be Newcastle United up against Liverpool by 8 p.m. on Monday. Firecracker. That's it. I almost called it the Isak Derby, but it's not exactly the Isak Derby.
It's not yet the Isak Derby. I mean, it's when he has played for both clubs, we can now refer to it as that. But the reports that he might not be featuring on the team sheet at all.
No, he will not. It's certain that he will not even feature on the team sheet. He won't. The discussions, Eddie Howe, the manager of Newcastle United, confirmed that he has had discussions with him. We don't know how those discussions panned out, because he's still taking a hard line regarding not playing for the club, that the gentleman's agreement was breached, blah, blah, blah. We know about all those things. It's looking a bit ugly. looking more like the Jokeres situation. But at the end of the day, burning the bridges might not be the best way. And even if you're going to burn the bridges, you have to do it in a very subtle way.
Yes.
He's not doing it in a very subtle way. And it's worrisome because it will affect his reputation. It will affect many things. And one of the things you have to consider, like if you look at Arsenal and Jokeres, after Jokeres successfully got his move to Arsenal, he's still trying to adapt. He has the quality, but he's trying to adapt. One of the key reasons he's trying to adapt, and he will eventually adapt, but one of the key reasons he's still trying to adapt is because of the lack, the match sharpness, match fitness. It's not really there because he wasn't involved in the preseason tournaments.
Yes,
training on your own, you should know that. Training on your own is not exactly the same as playing
as
tournaments.
Well. Yes, exactly.
Isak has not trained.
He has not trained. He's not played. So it's going to be a lot for him to slot straight into a team and be ready and be match fit. These are some of the things some footballers don't consider when they're trying to push for a move. I mean, you've said it, he's not done it in the most subtle of manners. Some people have even been likened it to how Xavi Simon's deal has been delayed with Chelsea and he's still playing some games for RB Leipzig.
Yes.
So, I mean, there are lots regarding this whole Isaac story, and I just hope it can be resolved peacefully and soon.
Yeah, hope
whether he stays or he leaves the club, it should be sorted in a subtle manner.
It's a good thing you said hope, and I know it's commonly said that hope is not a business strategy. But let's see how he will solve the matters, because he really has matters to look at.
Yes.
We'll have one other league we'll look at before we take a very short break and then return for the last leg of the show, and that's the Spanish La Liga. Yesterday, round 2 of the Spanish La Liga, we had Real Betis beating Alaves by 1-0. That was a game that was very important there. I had Giovanni Lo Celso, the former Tottenham Hotspur player, grabbing the only goal and then being the difference between them. And then we're going to have games today. Mallorca will be playing against Celta Vigo. Mallorca playing against Celta Vigo by 4 p.m. And then Atletico de Madrid playing against LK, trying to get back
to winning ways after that disappointing start to the season. Yeah,
precisely. And then we're going to have Levante playing against Barcelona. By 8:30. That will be the last game for today. Very important game for Barcelona. They want to assert their dominance, but that's the second consecutive away game for Barcelona. Well, anyway, La Liga, they have their way of doing things. Then tomorrow, being Sunday, by 4 p.m., we're going to have Osasuna up against Valencia. And by 6:30 p.m., Villarreal will be playing against Girona. And then Real Sociedad, by the same time, will be playing against Espanyol, hosting them in the Basque region. Well, Real Madrid's game, that is a game that people are going to be looking at for a good number of reasons. By 8:30 p.m., well, it's going to be a Real derby. That is Real Oviedo, the newly promoted side, who have been promoted for the first time in a long time. That is Santi Cazorla's team, his boyhood team. And they are going to be hosting Real Madrid, the Galacticos. And that's a game that people are going to be looking out for. We'll mention that in a jiffy. Athletic Club will be playing against Rayo Vallecano by 6:30 p.m. on Monday. But by 8:30 p.m. Sevilla will be playing host to Getafe. Now, that just before we go on that short break, Real Madrid against Real Oviedo. From a transfer market perspective, all eyes are going to be on a certain Brazilian wing forward named Rodrigo Goes.
Yes, I mean, that's a very key fixture, because if things plan out the way they've been planning out since the preseason, that is going to be confirming our thoughts that Rodrigo would push for a transfer move away from Real Madrid, because he's been an unused sub for quite a few matches, stretching back into the preseason. And I mean, once you see a club start to do this, it's a statement that they really do not rely on the services of that player anymore, no matter how top quality that player might be. So Rodrigo Goes would be using this fixture as a defining point. Will I stay at the club, or will I be pushing for a move away this summer?
Okay, let's just see how it plays out for him, because this is a very brilliant player, somebody who has a lot to offer, but for some reasons best known to Xabi Alonso, the new manager of Real Madrid, he's been frozen out. I mean, you just have to, if he looks like a pig, smells like a pig, oinks like a pig, it's not a warthog. That's what I always like saying. And that's what it is. So let's see what role he will play, if any, in the game today. And that's going to be the handwriting on the wall. Well, we'll get back. We'll return right after this break, and we're going to take the final leg of this show. We're going to move away from football slightly because of time, and we'll tell you what's coming up. The last Grand Slam of the year, the US Open, kicks off, and it kicks off tomorrow. That's one last chance this year for one of the greatest, if not the greatest, in tennis to win a record-breaking Grand Slam, referring to none other than Novak Djokovic, Djokanole. Will it happen? Well, more of that, and more of Djokovic's attempt, and then more also from the US Open when we return after the short break. Stick around. Welcome back to the final leg and final lap of the Afia Sports Show, the Afia Home of Sports on Afia TV, where we're running the simulcast, of course, the simultaneous broadcast, Afia TV, channel 254 DSTV, channel 17 Go TV, channel 748 Free TV, and 99.3 Afia Radio. So you listen in, call in if you can to give us your thoughts so we can feel your pulse regarding the issue of sports that's going on. And now we move straight to tennis. There are 4 Grand Slams in a year, and this is the last Grand Slam that's taking place. Now, a Grand Slam is one of the biggest events in the tennis calendar year. But, I'm not doing this alone tonight. We have with me, joining me on the set in this last part is Zik, the blessed Zik Ngene, who are going to be looking at this, basically looking at the issues, contenders, and what to expect in the Grand Slam of the year. Zik, it's good to have you.
Yeah, pleasure. Doing this again.
All right. So we're looking at the Grand Slam, the final Grand Slam of the year. Now, there are 4 Grand Slams in every calendar year. You have the Australian Open, which is the first that comes up usually in January in Australia proper. The Rod Laver Court is the major center of attraction there. And then you have the Roland Garros, which is the French Open. That one happens there in France. It's a clay court tournament, just like the Australian Open is a hard court tournament. French Open is a clay court tournament. Then you have Wimbledon, which is the British Open, all England club, they all wear white there. It's a grass court tournament. They play on a grass surface. And then the final one is the US Open, which takes place in Flushing Meadows there in the United States of America. And it's a hard court event, and it's the last of the year. Now, there are many things to watch out for. We have the rising stars, we have the old war horses from both the WTA, that's for the females, and then the PTA tour proper. You're looking at the fact that the kids around the block, the major contenders when it comes to the male circuit will have to be Carlos Alcaraz and Yannick Sinner, who have won all the Grand Slams this year so far. And they also won all the in fact, they've won all the Grand Slams since last year because they won 2 apiece.
It's a new guard.
Yes. Sorry, come again.
It's a new guard.
A new guard, yes, exactly. But you cannot discount the impact of someone like Djokanole, that's Novak Djokovic, who is pursuing a 25th Grand Slam title. Now, the record for Grand Slams is 24 Grand Slams, which is shared, which Novak Djokovic shares with Margaret Court, the Australian legend. But Djokovic is 38 years of age. Time is not on his side. And these boys are young boys, much younger than him in their early 20s. That is Yannick Sinner, the Italian, and then Carlos Alcaraz, the Spaniard. Yeah. So you're looking at a race against time for Novak Djokovic to roll back the years and then try to get what would be or what should be his 25th Grand Slam, putting him on top of the record that in the record books in a class of his own in terms of Grand Slams won. But just mention who are some of the contenders, both from the PTA tour, and then of course we know about the female tour there, where you have Arena Sabalenka, you have Iga Swiatek, you have Coco Gauff. Even from the African standpoint, you have people like someone like
Victoria
Ons Jabeur. Okay. That's the major African one looking for the Tunisian. Okay. And then a good number of them is Jessica Pegula, who is a home favorite, an American. So just what's your take regarding what to expect? Because it starts tomorrow.
Once again, pleasure to be here in wonderful morning. For me, I think that I can't wait because, like you said, this is the last Grand Slam of the year, and this is where I think all the stars, all the training, all the fitness, the keep up, whatever it takes that has brought you to that moment, this is where it counts. And I think that for me, Djokovic, he's fighting against time. He's fighting against younger, much more athletic stars like Alcaraz and Yannick Sinner. But I think that one thing about Novak it's not always been his physical ability. I think where Novak has always been strong is on the mental side. I think he's one of the most never say die, unstoppable athletes that you can have facing you on the opposing side of the court that most tennis athletes would not want to face him when he's on his game. For me, I brought up Victoria Mboko. You saw how good she was in the most recent. I can't remember the tournament, but she was a very.
I think the Cincinnati Open.
Yeah,
that just happened
she
there.
won.
Yes.
She won again. I think that was against either Ravikano or Naomi Osaka. Yeah, Naomi Osaka, and she was very fantastic in that. In the way she handled herself, the way she handled the occasion. She didn't look nervous. She didn't look afraid. She she acted right. She played the game well, and she has all of a sudden brought herself to the limelight. And I believe she's going to be able to handle herself well. But I do hope that going forward, that she looks much more. I think she will look much better. Coco Gauff is somebody that has started growing. She's adding much more height, versatility to her gameplay. So for me, a lot of players are you forgot even Gael Monfils.
No, yeah, I didn't forget him, but it's just like he's not one of the top favorites. Now, he's a member of the old guard, Gael Monfils.
I'm here for the old guard.
It's a blend of the old guard and the new guard. When you talk about the old guard, for instance, in WTA, the oldest on the circuit has to be Venus Williams.
Yes.
The Williams sister, 45 years of age.
The legendary Venus.
The elder sister to Serena.
Yeah.
Yes, not as successful as she, quite all right, but
she opened the way
in her own right.
Yeah,
yes, I know.
She opened the way. Yeah.
So they are part of the old guard we're looking at there, but you don't have many players who are up to 40 that are playing in this, because that just shows how strenuous.
That's why we should even congratulate and emulate or try to encourage much more people like Novak, like Venus, like Gael Monfils, because when the body start getting older, it doesn't react the way it used to react. You don't feel refreshed ahead of a game. Injuries take longer to heal.
Yes.
It's very difficult for them. So we have to be very, very happy to see some of these old heads in this tournament.
Yeah, like we say in this part of the world now, nobody could tell you.
Yeah.
But still, so we're rounding up the show. Okay, first of all, Djokovic is in the same half of the draw as Alcaraz, and he's going to face Lennartien. What a name, Lennartien. That the guy's a learner. He's 19 years old, a left-hander who upset Daniil Medvedev on the way to the fourth round of this year's Australian Open in January. So that's big ups to everybody. Wish them all the best, all the athletes. Finally, this is from wrestling, the WWE champion Trinity Fatu, who is popularly known as Naomi. Those of you who are fans of does World Wrestling Entertainment, that's WWE. She has relinquished her title because finally, after many years of trying fertility treatments and all whatnot, she's pregnant. She is the wife of Danny Uso, who is a wrestler also in the WWE circuit. So a big congratulations to Naomi. Her pregnancy announcement was shared live on WWE Raw. So she has relinquished her title because, come on, you cannot fight a competitive game like that carrying a bun in your oven, if you get that point. But big congratulations to her. And we say you're going to have a wonderful motherhood by God's grace, because they've waited for so long for this. So big congratulations to Trinity Fatu.
We wish her success in her pregnancy and, no complications whatsoever, and good luck.
And I hope she doesn't do a pile drive on the baby when the baby comes out, forgetting that she's a mother.
I think she will be teaching the baby that.
Eventually, when the baby gets of age.
Yeah.
So that's the size of the package. Thank you very much for being with us on Afia Sports Show. That's the Afia Home of Sports on this Saturday, 23rd of August, 2025. We'll do this again on Monday when we meet here by 5 p.m. where we'll discuss the reviews, or rather the reviews of what happened in the past week. Till then, I remain your man, Sisi the Rabbi. And of course, we've been here with Zik Ngene, the blessed Zik. And we were also here with Emeka Madoka, the priest of football. And we're signing out. Thank you very much for being with us. Take care and take charge.